Hi guys, welcome back to your mat. Today's video is a low body focus sequence and we'll do lots of hip opening exercises. And we'll also open up the inner and outer thighs. So if you've been running a lot or sitting or not working out much, then this is a great practice for you. You don't have to have two blocks, but they would be nice today. I'll teach you with the blocks and also give you choices to go without them as well. We're going to start today on all fours with a little bit of cat-cow. So meet me in a tabletop position. Take your hands underneath your shoulders and knees underneath your hips. And first, just get really stable. Make sure your wrists are underneath your chest and your shoulders. Sometimes they crawl up the mat and they're kind of underneath your face, but you want wide hands underneath your chest. So it kind of feels like you're working to hold yourself up. Then you'll push down into the mat with your hands and press down with your shins. Then right between your shoulders, it should feel like there's a little round in your upper back. Now, as you inhale, lift your tailbone, drop your belly, and look forward. This is cow. Think of a cow belly here. And cat. Exhale, push down into your hands, round your spine. Lift your shoulders up towards the ceiling. And now we'll go back and forth. Inhale, cow pose. Lower the belly, lift your gaze. Slowly exhale, cat. For the full length of your exhale, around your back. Two more. Breathe in, cow. Breathe out, cat. Inhale, cow. Exhale, cat. Inhale, find a neutral spine, a straight spine, back to where you began. And now step your right foot between your hands. So right away, you can grab your blocks. I'm going to start by sinking your hips down and forward. Just as much as it feels comfortable for you, you'll start to feel a big opening sensation in the front of your left hip here. And push down into the right heel and into the shin that's behind you on your mat so that you're anchored and rooted into your foundation. Then try to lift your chest up a little bit. So you can stay down here. A little further would be opening the chest, and with or without the blocks, hands by your hips would be even deeper. Okay, hips press down, lift your gaze, look forward, and inhale. Now half splits, exhale. You're gonna push your hips back, straighten out your right leg, and flex your toes towards your nose. Keep your butt up off of your heel, butt is directly above your knee. Round your back like a cat here, just like we did at the beginning of class. Tuck your tailbone under, reach your forehead towards your pelvis. And now we'll just kind of fire this up. You're going to press down into your right heel and push your butt back in space. You can even poke it out behind you a little bit, but then also go back to rounding your back like a cat. So it's a lot going on. Breathe, squeeze your right quad, top of your thigh. And now we'll put these two shapes together. So as you inhale, drop your hips, bend your knee, look forward, squeeze between the shoulder blades. As you exhale, half splits. Push your hips back, round your spine, straighten right leg, toes towards the ceiling. Two more. Inhale, drop the hips, lift your chest, shoulders back. Exhale, half splits, hips back, round your spine. One more. Breath in, move forward, and breath out. Push back. Inhale, stack your knee over your ankle, drop your hips, And then take both of your blocks to the inside of your right leg and start to heel toe your right foot out to the side so that your toes turn out at an angle. And you can comfortably rest your hands on blocks. And to feel more here, you'll scoot your left knee back. This is a lizard lunge. You're welcome to stay here like so. Or you can start to roll to the pinky edge of your right foot and push your knee away from your face. Just find some opening across the front of your body. And then whether your foot is on the side, right on the pinky edge, or flat on the floor, if you want to go further, you could lower the blocks down. If you're not using blocks, or you want to go even deeper, you can lower hands to the mat or even elbows down to the ground. We're going to stay here for about 5 breaths. A beneficial part of your practice is that you get to figure out what sustainability feels like in your body and whether you're making choices based on sustainability. So I gave you lots of options, and the one that you pick, I want it to be the one that feels most sustainable to you. Just 3 more breaths here. Sending your air really low into the part of your belly that is connected to your pelvis. All right, now let's start to push back up onto your hands. If you're using blocks, you'll take them with you. If you're on the pinky edge of your foot, roll your foot back flat onto the mat. And then lift your hips up. You're going to kickstand your left toes behind you. So left toes are going to come around so that they are now perpendicular to your mat. Some math for your ass. And then take the blocks with you. Here's where we're going. It's half gate. So once you get there, your left knee and your right heel should be in one straight line. Okay? And then the sole of your right foot is flat on the floor. You can stay on blocks again, or you can lower down to your elbows. Okay. And then start to just move your hips forward and back and just see how that feels. Warming up your inner thigh. So if anything about this class starts to mess with your knees, take a towel underneath your knee or just fold up your mat. Make a fold in your mat and put your knee on top of that so that there's more cushion. Okay, now we're going to take a half child's pose. So legs stay the same. You're just going to push your hips back all the way so they're on your butt cheek. So half of your body is in what's like a child's pose. And then you could keep your hands on blocks here, or you could do this with your hands on the floor. Forehead down towards your mat, so ears go between your arms. And we'll rest here for a moment. And then wherever you are, optional, totally optional, maybe bend your elbows, put your hands together, and take your thumbs to the back of your neck for a little tricep stretch. Just breathe. Just be how you are. And slow things down a bit. If your hands are behind your neck, you can reach them forward. Lift your head, start to wake your way back up to your hands. Lift your hip off of your heel. And then we'll turn back to a low lunge facing the top of your mat. So take the blocks with you if you're using them. Pivot, pivot, pivot. Hands all the way to frame your right foot. And then step your right foot back to meet your left. Let's do child's pose at the back of your mat. So widen your knees, push your hips back, or head drops between your arms. And just like we do in a lunge, take a moment to root into everything that's touching the mat. Press into your palms, press into the tops of your shins, stretch your hips back. Inhale, tabletop. Roll forward, stack your shoulders over your wrist. Now we'll try lizard lunge on the other side. First, step your left foot between your hands. Sink your hips forward towards your heel. If you find that your left knee is going past your heel, scoot your foot forward a little bit more. Take up more space on your mat. You're welcome to stay down, leaning forward a little bit more. You'll turn the blocks up a level. And then find some cow with your spine. So a little bit of a heart opener here. For even more, you slide the blocks closer to your heels. And then just breathe. Okay, half splits now. Push into the blocks, lift your hips up, straighten out your left leg. And tilt your hips towards the back of the room. Anchor through your heel. Squeeze your quad and round your back like a cat. Now let's go back and forth. Bend your knee, lift your chest, breathe in. Energetically, you're pushing your heel into the mat and dragging your shin towards your heel. So rooted. And then exhale, half splits. Push your hips back. Bow, round. Inhale, move forward. Lift your gaze, shoulders back. Exhale, push back. Half splits. Round your spine. Last one. Breathe in. And breathe out. And inhale, move yourself forward. Open your chest. Now, take both of your hands to the inside of your left leg. Heel toe your left foot out towards the side. Okay, so stay on your foot and your hands. Or for more, roll to the pinky edge of your left foot. Even more, you lower the blocks or take your hands or elbows down to the floor. Okay, so there's lots of positions that you can be in, lots of ways to play with this shape. You can rock a little from side to side. That feels good. Nice, easy breaths. And another great option is to take left hand to your knee, push it away from your face as you rotate your body up towards the sky. And you could do this as you see with your elbow on the floor, elbow on a block, or palm on the mat. Notice if anything in your low body starts to tighten up, your butt cheeks, your actual butthole, let it go. Calm down a bit, right? Soften. No need to do that. Now is not the time for that. Then relax your shoulders from your ears, just breathe. Okay, and take your hands back to the blocks. Press into your foot and lift your chest up. Half gate on the other side. I'm gonna switch around just so that you can see me better. Eventually, we'll meet with your left leg extended out to the side. Your heel is in line with your knee. Your hands are on blocks or the floor. And then you just push your weight back and exhale. Move your weight forward. And take a few rounds like that. I like to keep my right knee really wide here, almost pointing out at an angle, and the toes are kind of closer towards the midline of my body, just like child's pose. And then when you feel comfortable about it, sit your hips down, reach your arms forward, half child's pose. And if today your belly doesn't touch your thigh, your forehead's not all the way on the ground, that's totally fine. Give yourself grace. Maybe take a block underneath your chest, right? Let's bring the floor up to you. No need to judge yourself in your yoga practice because there are so many modifications to make this practice work better for you. So you can simply just change and everything will be just fine. If you feel good about it, you could bend your elbows, take your palms together, and put your thumbs behind your neck. Three more sweet breaths here. Okay. Release your hands and slide them back underneath your shoulders. Lift your belly. And we're going to meet in a wide-legged forward fold seated. So however you get out is fine. I'm just going to lift my hips up. Bring the knees close. Then have a seat. So for this next shape, there's two variations. You could do it with or without the blocks. If you are not using blocks, you will simply extend your legs wide. They don't have to be out to the maximum, like as wide as they'll go. Even if you're working towards that middle split, it's not necessary every time to separate your heels as wide as they'll go. There's still value here, kind of in the sweet spot. Do, though, reach your pinky toes back so your legs are externally rotating. And then tilt your pelvis forward. Walk your hands forward. As you inhale, you'll find some length, a longer spine. As you exhale, hands move forward more, and you're closer to the ground. And then just keep repeating that until you're in a comfortable position and you can let your head hang. If you'd like to try the variation using blocks, which is beneficial whether you're deep in your forward fold or not so comfortable here, you'll simply bend your knees, take the blocks on the medium setting, this is medium, slide them underneath your knees, okay, and then let your knees rest on the blocks. And then it's the same as other variation. You'll tilt your pelvis forward, walk your hands forward, inhale. As you exhale, elbows start to get closer to the ground. Top of the head is trying to point down, so you just hang and lean into yourself. And breathe into your back body here, sending the breath to the low back as you inhale. And exhale. And over time, let your heart get closer to the mat. It's not something you have to worry about or reach for. It's more of a softening and allowing gravity to take you to where you're trying to go. The natural forces will work in your favor if you let them. And so I am much more comfortable in this variation than with my legs straight and wide. But I think that's just because I like the sensation of the stretch in my low back. This is kind of a hard place to open up for some of us. You can just let yourself be here for about 4 more breaths. You don't have to hold your head up at all. Let's stay for one more long breath in through the back. Long breath out. Use an inhale and your hands to lift yourself up. And then just pause in the upright for a minute. Let everything settle. And now you can blink your eyes open. Slide the blocks from underneath your knees. And they're going to lay down on your mat. So meet me in a half Shavasana shape, which just means knees bent on your mat, back of the head on the ground. And we'll just close with a twist. So again, you don't have to use your blocks. I like to use the blocks in this twist because it makes my hips feel really settled. Take one, if you're using one, between your knees. And if you're not using blocks, you'll just simply place your knees together. You're going to scoot your hips an inch to the left and drop your knees over to the right. From here, you might take your left hand to your left rib cage. Encourage the back of your rib cage down towards the mat. It doesn't have to touch, but that's what your hand is there for. Or you could stretch your left arm overhead. And even though you feel your spine and this twist, still take full breaths into your torso. Maybe even look over your shoulder. And now look up. Move your knees back to center. Scoot your hips back to the middle. Just pause for a moment. You have time. Okay, same thing on the other side. Take a block between your knees or don't. Scoot your hips one way and drop your knees the opposite direction. Maybe hand to the top of your rib cage. Trying to prioritize keeping your shoulders down on the mat. And letting your breath take up space in your torso. Start to look up. Move your knees back to center. You can set the block to the side and plop your feet on the floor. And then we'll just close practice by lying here still for a few breaths together. I encourage you to lay here for maybe 3 minutes if you have time, or longer even. It's really essential to letting your practice integrate. Rest helps to digest the learning, the stretching, the work that we've just done. And so wherever you go for the rest of your day, we'll close here by taking the palms together and your thumbs up to your forehead. Take an easy inhale, easy exhale. Thank you so much for showing up to your mat today exactly how you did. I appreciate you. I see you. Enjoy the rest of your day. Namaste.